One volcanic eruption changed the weather worldwide, and almost nobody knows about it. What if I told you that a single volcano in Indonesia caused snow in New York in June, widespread famine across Europe, and even helped inspire the story of Frankenstein? This is the story of Mount Tambora, the largest and deadliest volcanic eruption in recorded history. Let's rewind to April 1815. On a remote island in what is now Indonesia, Mount Tambora didn't just erupt, it exploded. With a force 10 times stronger than the famous Krakatoa, it blasted an estimated 150 cubic kilometers of ash, rock, and gas into the atmosphere. The immediate aftermath was catastrophic. The explosion and resulting tsunamis wiped out tens of thousands of people in the region. But the deadliest part of this story wasn't the initial blast. It was what happened next, when the volcano's ash reached the stratosphere over 40 kilometers high. Here's where the science gets fascinating and terrifying. These tiny ash and sulfur particles didn't just fall back to Earth. They formed a massive aerosol veil that spread around the entire globe, acting like a planetary sunshade. This veil reflected so much sunlight back into space that it caused the Earth's average temperature to drop by up to 3 degrees Celsius. That might not sound like a lot, but it was enough to completely throw global weather patterns into chaos, leading to the infamous Year Without a Summer in 1816. Across Europe, the effects were devastating. The summer of 1816 was a period of relentless cold and rain. Frosts in July killed off crops before they could be harvested. In Ireland, the potato crop failed for 8 straight weeks. In Germany, the price of grain skyrocketed, and people were reportedly eating sawdust and cats to survive. This wasn't just a bad harvest, it was the worst famine of the 19th century in Europe, leading to desperate food riots in France, England, and Switzerland. The social fabric was tearing apart, all because of a volcano half a world away. Meanwhile, North America was experiencing its own version of a climate nightmare. In June 1816, parts of New York and New England were hit with snowstorms. Birds reportedly fell from the sky, frozen solid. Lakes and rivers in Pennsylvania were still frozen in July. The growing season was obliterated. For farmers in the Northeast, it was a breaking point. This year without a summer triggered a massive wave of migration, as thousands of families abandoned their failed farms and headed west, seeking a more stable climate in the Ohio Valley and beyond. It was one of America's first great migrations driven by a climate disaster. The impact in Asia was just as severe. In India, the eruption disrupted the summer monsoon. The resulting drought led to massive crop failures and famine. But it also did something else. The altered climate conditions allowed a new, more virulent strain of cholera to emerge and thrive in the Bay of Bengal. From there, it spread along trade routes, triggering the world's first major cholera pandemic, which would go on to kill millions of people across Asia, Europe, and North America for decades. In China, the cold, wet weather ruined rice harvests in Yunnan province, leading to a massive famine that shifted the region's agriculture for generations to come. But Tambora's influence wasn't just about disaster and death. It had a strange and profound impact on culture. In the gloomy, rain-soaked summer of 1816, a group of English writers were vacationing by Lake Geneva in Switzerland. Stuck indoors by the terrible weather, they decided to hold a competition to see who could write the best ghost story. One of them, a young woman named Mary Shelley, was inspired by the dark, stormy atmosphere to write a story that would become a classic of Gothic horror. Frankenstein, the monster itself, can be seen as a metaphor for nature's terrifying, uncontrollable power. The eruption also literally changed the way people saw the world. The volcanic aerosols in the atmosphere created incredibly vivid, spectacular sunsets for several years. The skies glowed with brilliant reds, oranges, and purples. It's no coincidence that the famous English painter J.M.W. Turner, known for his dramatic, fiery skies, produced some of his most iconic works in the years following the eruption. His paintings are essentially a visual record of Tambora's atmospheric effect. And get this, some historians even credit Tambora with sparking the invention of the bicycle. The logic is that the famine caused a shortage of oats to feed horses, making them expensive. A German inventor named Karl Dreiss was motivated to create a form of personal transport that didn't require a horse. The running machine, a direct ancestor of the modern bicycle. So, why haven't most of us heard about this colossal event? A few reasons. In the early 1800s, news traveled slowly. People in Europe and America had no idea that their bizarre weather was caused by a volcano in Indonesia. They blamed it on sunspots, divine punishment, or anything else they could think of. The world wasn't connected enough to see the global picture. Also, the eruption was overshadowed by major political events of the time, like the Napoleonic Wars, which ended just 2 months after the eruption. History books have always focused more on human conflicts than natural disasters. It's only in recent decades, with the help of modern climate science, ice core analysis, and historical research, that we've pieced together the full story of Tambora and understood just how profoundly it shaped our world. One eruption. It changed the climate, collapsed economies, sparked famines and riots, created a pandemic, pushed entire populations to migrate, and even inspired timeless works of art and invention. It's a powerful reminder that our planet is a single, interconnected system, where an event on one side of the globe can have consequences for everyone. What other forgotten historical events have had a massive impact on our world? Let me know in the comments what I should uncover next. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story as fascinating as I do, make sure to like and subscribe for more hidden histories.